So, what do you do when you're starting to find a client's root cause? You have an idea of what it is, and your client disagrees. Now, someone had this question, and I'm going to read it out loud because it's a very interesting question. So, what do you do when you're finding a root cause and you find it very clear as day as to what the answer is with their issue, and the client says, no, that's not it? Should you disagree with them or push them? What do you do to respond to that? Very, very good question, right? And so I'm going to answer this in the different layers and different mini questions within this, which is, first one, do you disagree with them? And so this answer is going to be very direct. No, you do not disagree with the client, and here's why. I mean, I'm sure you've heard that the customer is always right, the client is always right. And this is particularly 100% true when you're working with your client's subconscious mind and when you're doing any type of healing work with your clients or any coaching work with your clients, right? Your client does have all the answers, right? And in conversational hypnosis, the biggest principle that we teach is just the fact that our clients really do have the answers within them, and as the coach, as the hypnotist, as the practitioner, it is not up to us to find that answer. We help them find the answer, and whatever answer they come up with is going to be their best answer. So no, you do not want to disagree with your client, and even if you have a gut feeling that they're not there yet, it is not up to you to say no, I disagree with that. It is up to you to help your client see why there could be other perspectives and other ways, but you never disagree with your client because how will you know, right? As the coach, as the hypnotist, right? As the person who is outside of their own lives, how do you know for sure that what they're saying isn't right? How do you know that whatever they're saying may be the best thing for them at this present moment, and eventually after some processing that they will eventually find that answer. Think of it this way. I am in my mid 30s, and I would say half of my clients have been older than me and half of my clients have been younger than me. I would actually care to say that I have more clients who have been older than me. So but it doesn't mean that I'm less qualified to help them get to the root cause of their unconscious problem. But because I'm younger, who am I to tell them what is right or not right for them, right? They have the experience, their subconscious literally contains all of their life experiences, and their subconscious mind is going to be the best resource for them. So the answer has to come from there. And second, even if I was older than some of my clients, I still haven't experienced what they have experienced, right? And even if I were to hire someone to help me with my stuff who are older than me, and a lot of the people have been older than me who have helped me, they still don't know what my experiences are from when I was a child in the womb, all the way up to now in my mid 30s, right? They don't really know that. And so it is also not the best for them to tell me what to do because they just have not experienced my life exactly how I have, but my subconscious has because it stored that information. So, that's one side to answer this question. Never disagree with your client. And even if you feel that they're off, the biggest suggestion really is to just become curious as to why they think that they disagree, right? If they say no, that's not the root cause, then keep asking them. Why do keep asking them? Okay, so if it's not that, then what is, right? Asking those questions and being curious because if even if that might be the actual answer that they're looking for. So for example, the scenario is that maybe there's some sibling rivalry or something, and maybe you're thinking that maybe this client has some unresolved issues with their sibling, and you say that you like do you have or you assume that um instead of saying to your client you have some unresolved issues with your sibling. um if you think about that, if you have that on the receiving end, that could automatically trigger the defense mechanism, right? Resistance. This is what we call resistance. Even though it might be real, it is not up to you to make statements like that because it has the potential to be rejected, even though it may be true, right? And curiosity and really just asking your clients questions to help them see it differently is really what helps you with your client breakthroughs. So instead of saying you have issues with your sibling, instead of saying that, how about just asking them, open it up, right? Open it up a little bit. Okay, so what's your relationship like with your sibling then? And start going through that route. I'm just putting questions out here. This is all obviously context related. And the question of what's your relationship like with your sibling may work for that client or may not. It really depends because why? Everyone is different, right? So that was a long-winded story and answer for a question of never of whether or not you should disagree. Because my thing is never disagree. Instead of disagree, question and be curious as to why they're disagreeing with whatever it is that you are hypothesizing, right? Because as coaches and as hypnotists, we can only hypothesize based on our knowledge of psychology, of neuroscience of the mind, or whatever it is that you have studied. But a hypothesis is a hypothesis until proven, and it is not. And it is up to client to prove or disprove that by you asking them questions, because really they know the answer, right? And so yes, and that actually just answers the question of what do you do to respond to that? Just be curious. If they say no, that's not it, be curious as to what it is. What did they talk to you about during the strategy call? How are they responding to your questions? Really pay attention to that because it's not really the also like obviously questions you ask because it is questions you ask are important. However, it is your client's response to the questions that actually make the biggest impact as to how fast you're going to be able to break through them and get those unconscious moments so that you can get them into that state where you have this trust with their subconscious and their subconscious is giving you signs as to you getting closer to the root cause. And so, so one thing that I would also suggest with this particular scenario is that how do you know that you've gone to the root cause? Have you received feedback from their subconscious mind as to as to the fact that you are closer? How do you know that for sure, right? Are they unconsciously pointing towards using the same example, the sibling rivalry, right? Or some sort of unresolved relationship issues with their sibling? Could be many factors, right? What really affects your ability to receive client breakthroughs is your assumptions and conclusions that you're bringing into the session. So it is really important to make sure that you put all your own beliefs aside because it is not a session on you. It is a session on your client, right? And this is probably the most difficult thing that we do as therapists and coaches. We are going to project, right? That's how we are as humans, and it's by being able to be self-aware enough for yourself when you're assuming and you're projecting your own shit into the session, that gets really murky, right? And so as coaches and hypnotists, the more it's like a parallel process, right? Yes, keep going and keep seeing clients, but at the same time also ensure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're actually working on your own shit too, because your own shit, your own excuses, your own beliefs are going to influence and bias your session. So going back to just being curious, right? Just go back and step back and be curious as to what your clients are saying instead of assuming, because when you are in that state of curiosity, then you don't assume. And when you assume that you've gone to the root cause, you may not, right? It may be a mistake on your part, which has nothing to do with you. It's just, it is what it is, right? It's just really about taking a step back, being curious, not allowing your own beliefs and perceptions to influence the session. Because when you can work on those things, when you can be fairly neutral when you come into the session, that's when your breakthroughs are going to be faster because you're not going to assume. Because your assumption might be the wrong assumption. Your client might take that suggestion, but it might not be the best suggestion for them. And so that means in the long run, you won't help them with the root cause issue, and they keep coming back with the same issues coming back over and over. And that just lengthens your program and keeps that client coming back. They might start doubting. And so when you're able to just take a step back and listen and be present with your client, you're more likely to really know that you're in the root cause and be able to have faster breakthroughs that way. Because you don't have to disagree, because like I said, as coaches and hypnotists, we have no say on what the client experiences are. And just imagine this: if I was the client, and I don't have any siblings, but if you tell me, Fritz, like, you really have to um get up at the same time every day and go to bed at the same time every day, for example, that's your solution for me. And, like, first of all, I already know that. I already know the benefits of that, right? Don't underestimate your client's intelligence as well. So I already know that, but I'll meet you with resistance and say, yeah, I'm already trying to do that, but it's not working. Even though that may be the very thing that I need to be doing, I'll meet you with resistance because um, suggestion didn't come from me, and to me, you're already assuming something that I've already done. And as humans, we're stubborn, right? We're stubborn and we don't like being told what to do. So if you ask me questions and saying, well, Fritz, like, what is your sleep like compared to when you stay up too late, or you don't have consistency in your bedtime and your wake up time? How would that be different? Then it makes me think, and then it makes me go, during the times when there's consistency, I definitely do feel better. And it's the same thing. It's the same result, right? I am going to start with the consistency of the sleep, but because it came from me, I'm more likely to act on it versus if you were my coach and you just said, just get up. Like, I already know that, right? Obviously, it's not happening. So there's something else. I have to somehow think of it differently in my brain instead of you just telling me what to do. And so that is my answer to that question. Don't disagree, and just meet your clients with curiosity. And you, as a coach, continue to work on your own triggers so that you don't bring that shit into the table, because that gets complicated. It affects your client's results. And it's really just codependency, which as coaches and therapists, we definitely need to work on, right? So I hope the answer to this question helped, and I will see you soon.